Good evening, everyone. In front of you is a Sycamore High School Concert Orchestra. They just play Fingal's Rock, which is cool. So, if you have a classical background, you are familiar with the Hebrides Fingal's Cave by Mendelssohn. It's a standard classical piece. The overtures, really famous in standard classical orchestra repertoire. And I found this arrangement of it where the arranger put a rock beat behind it. I was like, okay, this is a cool, fresh spin on a classic theme that all classical musicians and your children need to know. So hopefully someday it'll be in some movie or some commercial and they'll hear that theme and like, wait, we played that. Yep, I'll go ahead. As you see, we have a plethora of conductors, and I will talk you through them. Our next person who is conducting with them, Brandon Rittenauer, is on scholarship with the George and Betty Dutton Foundation organization to come and work with our students. He's a graduate student at NIU, and some of you have been around long enough, you remember Mr. Cruz from a couple years ago. He was the scholarship recipient for 2 years, and then and now he's actually coming back at the middle school as a student teacher. But we have Mr. Rittenauer now and wanted a chance to conduct the orchestra, so here we go, his debut conducting the Sycamore High School Orchestra. Our next conductor, as you see on the program, is Miss Phoebe Shaughnessy. Miss Shaughnessy is an undergrad student at NIU, and she's doing her clinical studies with us this quarter and or semester. And Miss Shaughnessy is special. She's family. Well, to me, not to them. But it's kind of a full circle moment. So Miss Shaughnessy is from Yorkville, and her orchestra teacher, Emily Byer, was a student teacher with us at Sycamore. So Miss Shaughnessy is kind of like my grand student. So it's kind of a neat thing. So I knew when she first came to Northern, and then when we were working on placements, I got the request, and I was like, absolutely, I will take her. So I'm thrilled, and Mrs. Byer's thrilled, and it's just kind of a full circle moment. So her conducting debut, she's only been here for what, 2-3 weeks, and I said, hey, you want to conduct? She's like, yeah, why not? I'm like, let's do it. So here you go, Ms. Shaughnessy and the Sycamore High School Concert Orchestra. last conductor, or guest conductor, I should say, so close, just 2 more people, and I could have, stayed home and binge watched something on Netflix. No, Mr. Tobin Langridge, we go way, way back, and he does have an indirect connection to Sycamore. When I was a first-year teacher, Mr. Langridge was working in the Quad Cities, and he was one of the teachers in the district, the IMEA District 2-8 region, and instantly became, he was one of those leaders and help me navigate the whole IMEA system. Years later, he moved on, worked in the suburbs, and then now he's retired and has graciously volunteered to come to a couple schools. He's working at several schools in the suburbs. He's working with us. He's working with DeKalb High School, and he's friends with all of us. So Mrs. Felder, Mr. Langridge, and myself, we were that era back in the early mid '90s, and so I'm grateful that he's here with us and able to conduct the orchestra, and his wisdom is invaluable. So without further ado, Mr. Langridge. before we do our final piece, just a quick acknowledgement. As many of you know, a couple of, 2 weeks ago now, we played or participated in the IHSA solo and ensemble competition that was held at Harvard High School. And so I most importantly want to recognize all the people who participated in that contest. So, after you move violins, that's why I'm talking, so you can make your choice. There we go. Alright, so if you participated in IHSA Solo and Ensemble Contest, will you please stand and be recognized? And I'll make this announcement right now. If I sent the link to you guys to the IHSA website, and it keeps updating. Nothing has changed in the last week, so nothing is official yet. So don't be going on social media saying that we won yet. But we are still in first place in Class A, and we still have the highest score of points across all classes, even against AA. So far, fingers crossed that we may be in first place again for the third consecutive year in a row. So congratulations to everyone who participated. And you'll hear me say, if this all goes through and we get the press that we deserve, you'll hear me say this over and over. The saying, like some of those other sports, you can't be like basketball. Like you can't have Derrick Rose on your team and win the high school state championship. The only way you can win this event is you need lots of people to participate. So you can't just have one or two superstars and score enough points. You have to enter all these events of solos and ensembles, and that's a testament to the entire program. Chamber orchestra can't do it alone, concert orchestra can't do it alone. It has to be both organizations participating. So kudos to all of you and your families. So without further ado, Gal.
Hey, I just want to take this quick opportunity to introduce the piece Elementia that you're about to hear. It is actually a three-movement work. The first movement is titled Flights of Fancy, second movement is Terra, the third movement is Fire and Ice. It was commissioned by a little town in Kentucky called Russell for the fantastic composer Soon-Hee Newbold, and each movement symbolizes different elements, as you can imagine. The first one, Flights of Fancy, gives you the feeling of being in the small town as the little, it was actually a railroad town. The train rolls through the town, you can hear the clicky-clack of the tracks through the pizzicatos of the orchestra. And then the second movement, Terra, resembles an Appalachian lullaby and represents the elements of the earth. On the one side, you have the flowing Ohio River in all of its glory, and on the other side, the dense forests of Appalachia. It's beautiful. And then the last movement, Fire and Ice, captures the elements of fire and water meeting to create steam and the kinetic energy of a small town that is still thriving. Please enjoy Elementia.
Before we play our final piece, just wanted to have a few shout outs to Ms. Shaughnessy, Mr. Rittenauer, and Mr. Langridge for conducting. So thank you for that and your experience. We talked about, it's like, wow, should we have so many chefs in the kitchen? And the reality is this, it is, you know, if your typical big suburban programs, you'll have an elementary teacher, a middle school teacher, a high school teacher, all different teachers throughout your lives. And in some of the bigger districts, you might have just a 6th grade orchestra teacher, then a new 7th grade, new 8th grade. And some of these high schools have like 4 high school directors, orchestra teachers at their school. So they get this variety throughout their lives. In a small town, when there's just Mrs. Sanaki and I, you don't get quite that kind of diversity of people in your lives, unless you're doing IMEA or a youth orchestra or whatnot. So, you know, even though they all happen to come at one time, I thought, hey, it's great for your children to have experienced different conductors and have different experience with different personalities and whatnot. So it's been worth it. Thank you to Ms. Nelson, our tech coordinator, who set up all the stuff that you see up here that makes my job easier. Shout out to Emily Bykowski, who made the program. If you know me, artistic value and skills and set aside, making a program is just, it's torturous for me. So to have someone in the orchestra who's artistic and that I can just dump everything on her, it's a perfect opportunity. So I appreciate her for this beautiful program. Thanks to Alex on our drum set here for coming in at the last minute and saving us. He's like, hey, do you want to play set? You heard him in the fall, and then he's like, hey, do you want to do it again? He's like, yeah, sure. So it's like awesome having him here for us. So thank you for that. Sycamore Music Boosters, real quick. We have several openings in officer positions that we could use your help on. I heard we did fill some positions, but we have more leadership positions that are needed. So if you are interested, please consider joining our ranks. We need you. Our program cannot thrive without the Sycamore Music Boosters. If you're interested, please let me know, and we will get you connected with the right people. This Thursday, we have another meeting that you're more than welcome to come to, but it is also, we are inducting our Hall of Fame people. One in particular that does directly relate to us is we are posthumously acknowledging Mr. Art Matska. So those of you in the Suzuki world or NIU, you know Anne, Link, that whole the Matska clan. The rest of the family pretty much has been inducted already, and so we are going to acknowledge his contributions. And honestly, even though he didn't restart the Sycamore Orchestra program, it was at that time, it was crucial when the school district was considering funding or not funding, revitalizing, bringing back the program. His family moved into town, and Anne, as a little child, played for the school board and helped convince the board, say, hey, we should fund this orchestra program. So, it's a group of people, but without him and his family helping out, none of this might exist right now. I mean, imagine that. None of it, we only have band and choir, and so everything that they have worked hard for wouldn't have been an opportunity if it wasn't for them. So if you want to come help celebrate that event on Thursday night, that would be awesome. So 6 o'clock, so here at Sycamore High School. Mrs. Tanaki, thank you, wherever you are out there, for keeping me sane and also helping with the program design and giving Emily tips. Really appreciate that. Here, I would like to acknowledge on stage this group of IHSA Solo Ensemble participants. So all of you participate in Solo Ensemble. Either stand and faces raise your hand, or wave your hand and not. So IHSA, please stand. Once again, as you see, it's a giant proportion of the orchestra that participates, which is why we are successful. There's one more little thing in addition to that. So when you're at contests, there's literally thousands of kids at our site, and there's dozens of rooms, band, orchestra, choir, and each judge in each room is given the opportunity to what they call the Best of Day Award, and that is what the judge considers the best performance of that day in their room. And the orchestra program, we are lucky, almost in my 27 years, literally almost every year we have received the best of day. Oftentimes we've received best of day in both rooms. But this year, the best of day for orchestra is Luke Templin. So stand up for his room. All right, here we go. This tech stuff, I don't do this stuff. So we're gonna hope that this works, but I know our performers are gonna be great in making her rap debut. If the older kids could see me now, 20 years ago, I would not be doing things like this. So, but I'm proud I am. I've evolved, even in my old age. So, Ms. Kleckner, are you ready? Yes. Right. So, her rap debut, My Shot, Elizabeth Kleckner, the Sycamore High School Chamber Orchestra.